Alright, another episode of WCW. We're here on the Monday, March 20th episode of Nitro. You're going to see tonight that a lot of the talent on this card is leaving because we're trying to put people over, so we're just going to take every guy that's leaving and hopefully try to give them a loss on the way out, try to get popularity on the other guys. First of which is Bobby Duncombe Jr., who at this point would be dead in real life. Good thing about TEW is sometimes you can get people second chances at life, and Duncombe is one of those examples here. So, Chavo gets the win. Not too bad on the pre-show. Crowbar and Eric Young. Crowbar is also leaving. Just one of those guys that I have nothing with. Maybe I'll bring him back because he's actually alright. He pulls 46. Well, mid-40s. He can work as a lower mid-card, so I might bring him back, but for now, he's going to be leaving, and Eric Young is going to be staying because he's getting the win tonight, and Team Canada is getting a push. So, Lash LaRue, Ernest Miller. We're keeping Lash, and Ernest is leaving, so let's give Lash a win. I've used Ernest Miller a lot in my previous TW, when I used TW 2016 in the 2001 mod. I usually put Ernest Miller and Norman Smiley together as a tag team, call them the Hippest Cats, but I've done that so many times now that I really don't want to do it again, so Ernest Miller is just going to have to leave, and we're keeping Lash LaRue because he's a cruiserweight, lower card guy. He's good to have, he's cheap, so 39. Hugh Morris and Ace Steel. Hugh Morris is again leaving. I just don't like him as a person and as a wrestler, so I figured get the hell out of here. And Ace Steel, well, he's part of the Second City Saints. He's not on the main card tonight, but at least give him a win. Give him some momentum. Kiwi and Juventud. Kiwi's leaving. I'm done with the Champagne gang. So Kiwi and Scotty are leaving, and we're keeping Canyon. So Hoovy gets the win with the Hoovy driver. Soldiers of Stone versus the Bad Street Boys. Bad Street Boys are staying. They are our top up-and-coming tag team, I would say, because they're pulling low 40s, high 30s. Right now, they've improved a good amount in the past months, and the Soldiers of Stones are just garbage. So, get the hell out of here. Stasiak and Palumbo, they're leaving as well. I'm not going to bring in the Natural Born Thrillers here. Even though some of them are decent, like Palumbo can work to a certain extent later in WCW. Sean O'Hare is pretty alright. Not in WCW, but would be alright. Stasiak can work sometimes. Sanders can cut a promo. I just don't want to push them. I don't have anything for them, so I figured get the hell out of here. So instead, Norman, Smiley, and Psychosis get the win. And this is just a thrown together tag team, but they have excellent chemistry, so I might have to do something with Norman, Smiley, and Psychosis. So if you guys can come up with a tag team name for Norman, Smiley, and Psychosis, let me know. 53. Alright, we're opening the show. Booker T, the World Heavyweight Champion, cuts a promo, and out comes Jeff Jarrett, Lex Luger, and Billy Kidman. We're getting Lex Luger versus Booker T for the WCW World Championship in tonight's main event, so this gets a 63. Christopher Daniels retains the Cruiserweight Championship against Yun Yang with the Angel's Wings. And Daniels makes defense number 3 of the Cruiserweight Championship. Team Canada, Eric Young, Robert Roode, they come out and they beat down Christopher Daniels. This didn't do too great, but you know what? Sometimes you have to sacrifice some quality of the show to get people over, so. Kurt Hennig and Dustin Rhodes, the number 1 contenders to the Tag Team Championships, come out. And Nash and Steiner follow. And the Tag Team Championship title match will be on the line in 2 weeks. So not next week, but the week after that. So 62. Road Warriors are in action. They get a victory over the Mamalukes, Big Vito, and Johnny Stamboli. Those 2 guys are also leaving. I just don't like them, really. Vito's just whatever. Stamboli is just whatever. So, get the hell out. I have to let some talent go. It's just, I don't have room to push everybody on the roster. And some of these guys are going to have to go. Even the younger guys, I'm replacing them with other younger guys, like CM Punk, like Colt Cabana. AJ Styles is going to come up soon. Lance Storm needs a push. Some other guys who are Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio needs some room to get a push. So some of these guys are going to have to leave. I'm going to make some sacrifices. 52. We're also in terrible shape financially. We're losing a lot of money with WCW, as they were in real life. So I had to cut back on production. I had to cut back on wrestlers. So some of these guys are going to have to leave. JB interviews the Road Warriors, and out comes the Triple Threat to interrupt. Just going to start a feud with the Triple Threat and the Road Warriors. This is what I'm talking about. Sting cuts a promo with the United States Champion talking about how he retained the belt, and out comes Lance Storm and Roddy Piper. So I know Roddy is a Scotsman in kayfabe, but I figured that after his introduction at Super Brawl, if I remember correctly, I figured we can just have them cut a promo. He can acknowledge it in a promo that, yeah, he's tired of being portrayed as a Scotsman. He's a real Canadian, because WCW likes to have a little bit of shoot in their promos, a bit of reality, so why not? So Piper and Storm come out, and Storm wants Sting's United States Championship, so it looks like Lance Storm, the belt collector, is back in business. 75. Randy Savage gets a win against Barry Windham. Barry's leaving. Savage signed a deal with WWF, so he's going to be leaving by the end of his contract, which comes up in 11 days. So Barry's leaving, so I need Savage to get a win on TV just to get him out there for a promo to fill some time, because he's going to be cutting a promo on Mike Awesome. And he wants Mike Awesome in a match next week. Alright, perfect, we got that. And since Savage's contract is coming up, you can probably guess who's going to win that match. Second City Saints take on Brian Clark and Scotty Flashy Icon. Clark is leaving, Icon's leaving, so Second City Saints, you get a win on TV. And they have excellent chemistry, so I'm going to have to start using them more as a tag team instead of 3-on-3. So Ace Steel might just become more of a manager role for the Second City Saints. Or he's just going to be less seen in tag team matches with them. But decent right here. Clark's leaving, Icon's leaving. Clark is just not worth his contract, so 42. Savage is backstage, and DDP comes up to him, and he asks him to reconsider facing Mike Awesome. Awesome is dangerous, and Savage doesn't want to hear it. He's going to be facing Mike Awesome next week. Booker T versus Lex Luger is your main event. Booker T gets the win with the scissors kick and makes defense number 3 of the WCW World Championship. Afterwards, we get a beatdown. Kidman, Jarrett, and Luger beat down Booker T, and Rey Mysterio and Hulk Hogan come out to make the save, and this gets a 68. 69 to end the show. Popularity took a hit, but our popularity is going to have to take a hit sometimes, because we are building new stars, and they aren't that great right now, so the match quality and the show quality is going to suffer a little bit. But we should be able to turn it around in due time. And yeah, as you can see, a lot of guys are gone from WCW and from the HWA developmental. So that should be a little bit better for WCW. Alright, let's go to the next Nitro. I'll be back in just one moment with next week's Nitro. Let's get into the March 27th episode of Nitro. We're on the pre-show. Lash LaRue takes on Kaz Hayashi, and Lash gets a big win tonight on the pre-show. Next up, 4-on-4 in-ring action. Ace Steel, Colt Cabana, Joey Matthews, and Christian York. They take on 3 Count and Tony Marinara. Decent match, whatever, just to get some guys, trying to get them over, trying to get them to work on their in-ring skill. We're opening the show with Randy Savage getting a promo on facing Mike Awesome tonight, and DDP comes out and begs Savage, again, don't take the match. Awesome is dangerous. You're past your prime. This is a bad idea. And Savage says, I got this. Don't worry. 70. Lance Storm defends the TV title up next and gets a win over Chavo Guerrero. Pretty decent match here. Storm continues to show why he is one of the best up-and-coming mid-card stars in WCW. Team Canada cuts a promo, and out comes Sting and Christopher Daniels. We're getting a tag team match next week. It's Sting and Daniels versus Eric Young and Robert Roode of Team Canada. Gets a 47. Kurt Hennig and Dustin Rhodes cut a backstage promo on facing the World Tag Team Champions next week. 51. Chris Candido gets a win over Hawk after interference from Triple Threat, and Animal also interfered. We get a brawl afterwards. Road Warriors brawl with the Triple Threat. Christopher Daniels is backstage with Sting, and Sting is telling him about the game plan next week, telling him, I got Robert Roode, you take care of Eric Young, we're going to work together, we're going to figure this out. And Daniels is like not saying anything, he's kind of in awe, and Sting's like, are you alright? What's wrong? He's like, can I have your autograph? 68. CM Punk gets a win over Mike Rotunda, and he was off his game, which is really unfortunate, because we've been trying to get Punk over, and it's going to take a long time, but we're trying. If he can get to recognizable and he can have matches on TV without having to be against bigger stars, I'll be happy, and then he can slowly develop. 46. Kidman, Jarrett, and Luger cut a promo. They introduced their tag team name. They are Just All That. And out comes Booker T, Hulk Hogan, and Rey Mysterio. We're getting Billy Kidman versus the Hulkster in our main event next week. A 67. Kevin Nash and Scott Steiner cut a backstage promo on Kurt Hennig and Dustin Rhodes. Tag titles on the line next week. Is that going to be the main event? I don't remember. Do I? No, it's not. It's not. It is Hogan and Kidman. Perfect. 76. Jeremy Borash interviews Randy Savage, and he asks him, are you nervous heading into this match? And Savage says, I don't know why everybody's all freaked out about this. It's just a guy. Like, he's just Mike Awesome. It's no big deal. And then Mike Awesome murders Randy Savage with an awesome bomb. Gets a 68. And afterwards, Mike Awesome drags Randy Savage to the stage and powerbombs him through the stage. And out comes DDP to check on Mike Awesome. And that's how we end the show, or check on Savage. And that's how we end the show with Savage dead and Awesome looking dominant. 71. Not too bad. An improvement over last week. Popularity goes up a little bit. It was a better show. We're happy with that. And Savage is officially leaving the company. That was his write-off segment. And I'm going to announce it here. I'm probably going to have to cheat a little bit. And I'll tell you how I will in just one moment. Alright. I'm not going to give myself money. I'm not going to pump money into WCW. I'm not going to change the popularity. What I will do, however, is I'm going to cut the contracts to their last day. I'm going to make them all loyal so that I can still sign them without anybody sending an offer. And I'm going to assign them to exclusive written but paper appearance deals. So instead of monthly payments, it's going to be per appearance. So it should save us some money. Hopefully there's no need for a downside. I'll check. If there's a need for a downside, then it's not going to be better. But I will renegotiate a lot of these contracts to hopefully save a little bit of money. And I'll do the same thing with developmental, because some of these deals are costing us a lot of money. And I know it's not in the spirit of saving WCW. You wouldn't be able to cheat in real life, but let's be honest, in real life there is no saving WCW. It would be doomed no matter what. So I'm sorry, but it's mostly the point of making this series is not really to try to save the promotion in terms of money. It's to save the promotion in terms of booking. Right, it's to hopefully tell good stories with the different talent and up-and-coming talent. So, I'm going to look into that. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, goodbye.